Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of the Idiotic Sports Talk. I'm your host, Liam Gavin, coming to you live from my kitchen, and today I'm going to cover all the Week 4 NFL games that just passed. We had some good ones go down, so let's get started with Thursday Night Football between the Broncos and the Jets. The Broncos won 37-28. I called this game was going to be very boring and low scoring, but it was actually a high scoring game, and between both teams about how bad they played, they actually made it really entertaining. Mark Rippon's son, Brett Rippon, got his first start for the Broncos. He threw 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, but he was the only player in NFL history, the only quarterback to throw 3 interceptions during his debut and still get his team the win. As for the Jets, Sam Darnold didn't turn the ball over. He also wasn't able to put the ball in the end zone. He did have a really good rushing touchdown for about 45 yards. But in the end, the Jets just could not get it together. They couldn't stop Melvin Gordon in the run game, and now the Jets are 0-4. I've said this plenty of times. I sound like a broken record now, but it's time to fire Adam Gase. On to the Sunday games. We look at the Saints and the Lions. The Lions took a quick 14-0 lead in the first quarter, and then the Saints scored 28 unanswered in the second quarter. And then from that point on, it was all Saints. They wound up winning 35-29. Drew Brees had 2 touchdowns, an interception, and 246 passing yards. But it was the running game that got going for the Saints. Kamara had 83 rushing yards and a touchdown. Latavius Murray, 64 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Saints move to 2-2, while the Lions fall to 1-3. As for the Chargers versus the Bucs, this was an exciting game. The Chargers took a 24-7 lead. Tom Brady threw a pick 6. Everyone thought, oh man, this game's over, right? Nope. Tom Brady did what Tom Brady does best. After throwing that pick 6, he wound up throwing 5 touchdowns, 369 yards on the day. He had his running game intact too. Ronald Jones had over 111 yards. The Bucs now move to 3-1. The Chargers now fall to 1-3. As for the Bengals versus the Jaguars, this was a game that I thought the Jaguars were going to bounce back and win. But once again, the rookie quarterback, Joe Burrow, having a hell of a game, threw for 300 yards passing. He also had some help from his buddy Joe Mixon, the running back. I said how Mixon needs to get involved, and he did. He had 151 yards on the ground, 2 rushing touchdowns, and he had a receiving touchdown. I'm the idiot who benched Joe Mixon in fantasy. He had 44 points on my bench. I wound up winning, so that's good. But if I lost, I definitely would have been punching the air because I benched him. Next was the battle between 2 0-3 teams at the time, the Minnesota Vikings versus the Houston Texans. The Vikings got their first win of the season, 31-23. Kirk Cousins had a passing touchdown, did not turn the ball over. Dalvin Cook ran hard. He had 2 touchdowns on the ground for over 130 yards rushing. He did his thing. 2 receivers, Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, they both had over 100 yards receiving as well. And as for the Texans, they fired Bill O'Brien after this. I said that they had to fire him if they lost this game, and it looks like they did. He was long overdue to be fired. I said they should have fired him once they traded DeAndre Hopkins. Next was the Seahawks versus Dolphins. Russell Wilson doing Russell Wilson things. 360 passing yards with 2 touchdowns. He did, however, throw his first interception, which I was surprised because I did not see him throwing an interception against the Dolphins. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he did not look like Fitzmagic. He threw for 2 interceptions. He did look like Fitztragic in that game. But however, Devontae Parker, their receiver, played good. They just weren't able to get the W. Next is the Browns versus the Cowboys. Oh man, as a Cowboys fan, this pains me tremendously. Browns beat them 49-38. The Browns looked sharp. I got to give my credit where it's due. Baker didn't turn the ball over. They just ran the ball efficiently. They had like 4 running backs rush over 50 yards, something crazy like that. They ran over 300 yards in general, despite Dak putting the team on his back, throwing for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. They just weren't able to get it done. They were down 41-14. They wound up coming back and made it 41-38 with 3 minutes left in the game and some timeouts. and they decide to go for some onside kick or some that put the Browns at midfield, and the Browns were able to score again, and they should have just kicked it deep and had the Browns back up, deeper in their own territory. But it was just a bad play calling right there. So Cowboys now 1-3. They really could be 0-4 right now, but the Browns looking good at 3-1. Next is the Cardinals versus Panthers. I don't know what happened to the Cardinals the past 2 weeks. They have looked horrible. Kyler Murray did play well. He threw for 3 touchdowns. He wasn't able to turn the ball over. He just couldn't get any of his receivers going. He couldn't really get his running game going as well. But as for the Panthers, Teddy Bridgewater got it done. He threw for 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. He spread the ball around fairly well to his receivers like Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, and DJ Moore. Panthers now won their second straight. They're 2-2. As we look at the Ravens versus the Washington football team, I had this game being a complete domination by the Ravens, and that's pretty much what it was. Lamar Jackson had himself a day. He had 3 total touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 rushing. Ravens now 3-1. The football team 1-3. Next is the Rams versus Giants. This was actually a closer game than I expected. I expected the Rams to blow them out, but at one point it was 10-9 the entire time, and then Goff threw a nice touchdown to Cooper Kupp. That gave the Giants the lead. The Rams the lead, and that's what made them win the game. After the game, Golden Tate, the Giants receiver, and Jalen Ramsey got into a fist fight back last year. About a year ago, Jalen Ramsey got Golden Tate's sister pregnant, then cheated on her and left her for a stripper. So I could definitely see why Golden Tate felt the way that he felt and wanted to put his hands on Jalen Ramsey. I don't know if there's any suspensions or fines coming their way. I'm sure there is, though, soon, because Goodell will fine anybody he can. Next was the Bills versus Raiders. This was a better game. The Bills won 30-23. They moved to 4-0, and the Raiders lose their second straight, and they go to 2-2. The Raiders were in there pretty much the whole game. They just had 2 costly fumbles. Derek Carr fumbled and Darren Waller fumbled, and that's what swung the momentum around. Josh Allen played great. The Bills are looking amazing. They could be a potential AFC winner and make it to the Super Bowl. Next is the Colts and Bears. This was a game I thought the Bears would have won, but the Colts defense looks legit. They've only allowed 48 points in their past 4 games. That's phenomenal. Phillip Rivers is playing well too, but their defense has looked sharp so far. They're causing turnovers, they're getting sacks, they're not allowing big yards. As for the Sunday night game between the Eagles and the Niners, this game really made me sad because the Eagles wound up winning, and now they're in first place of the horrible NFC East. They win 25-20 over the 49ers. Nick Mullins didn't play his best game. I believe he had 2 interceptions and a fumble. 1 interception went back for a pick 6, and that was the changing point of the game. The Niners just need to get healthy, and they need to get Jimmy G back. They got Kittle back, who had a monster game. He had about 180 receiving yards and like 14 catches and a touchdown. So if they get Jimmy G back and they get their main running back, Raheem Mostert, to return, I expect the Niners to be all right. As for the Monday night football games, there was 2 of them. The Chiefs and Patriots was canceled on Sunday because Cam Newton, the Patriots quarterback, tested positive for COVID. So they rescheduled it to Monday night, and the Chiefs won 26-10. The Chiefs defense just beat up on New England's weak backup QBs. The Chiefs move to 4-0 now as the Patriots fall to 2-2. And as for the Atlanta Falcons versus the Green Bay Packers, the Green Bay Packers won this game 30-16. They did it really well. Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. He's looking like he could win an MVP this year, maybe even make it to the Super Bowl. The Packers are playing phenomenal football. They don't turn the ball over on offense, and they get turnovers on defense, and that's the recipe to win. As for the Falcons, they're now 0-4. I think it's time to say goodbye to Dan Quinn. It's just every week it's the same thing where they just lose or they take a big lead and then choke it. So Dan Quinn has got to go. So that's it for today's segment. Thank you all for watching. Remember to follow me on Instagram and subscribe to my YouTube channel for a chance to win $100 cash. Thank you all and have a great day.